I'm Courtney Nejedly. Thanksgiving is just around the corner, and while most New Yorkers are venturing outside of the city or making dinner reservations, I decided to roll up my sleeves and learn how to do it myself. So I have a tiny apartment and an even smaller kitchen, and I rarely cook for myself, let alone 4 or 5 of my friends, so I consulted Diana Seabrooke. She is a private chef and owner of Diana Catering, and she's going to help me cook a delectable meal and learn to look like a pro. So let's get to it. So Diana, can you tell us what you prepared for us today?
So like you said, you were wanting to create a meal for someone who lives in a small apartment for only a couple of friends. So we've come up with a few options that won't take you much time. Most people spend about a good 8 hours on Thanksgiving Day. They're waking up at 6 in the morning just to put the turkey in the oven. So we've come up with these items that are going to take you less time as well as less hassle.
Great.
So we have started over here with our Cornish hens. Rather than do a typical turkey, which takes you a good 6 to 8 hours depending on the pound, we've gone with the Cornish hen, which will only take you an hour.
And also to mention, if there are no more turkeys left in the store, I know for all those last minute shoppers, this is a great alternative as well. And if you have less people too, you're not going to have leftovers for days.
Exactly. As well as the turkey probably doesn't fit in your oven. Most likely.
That would be a problem.
So how we've started is we've cleaned off our turkey, no soap.
Okay. That would be something I would do, probably.
You're going to want to just rinse the turkey, get in all the grooves, get on the inside of the cavity. Most likely the Cornish hen has come with a baggie full of the gizzards and all that. You're just going to want to take that out, throw it away, unless you're making stock. I don't think so. So after you've cleaned off the bird, you're going to want to lift up a bit of the skin. So if you just grab the little turkey there, the chicken.
The chicken. We're taking the chicken, yeah.
So used to saying turkey. Okay, and you can see if you feel around the skin, you're going to want to stick your fingers underneath there, loosen it up, and put little cubes of butter. You want it to be cold so that it stays together.
Okay.
It's not appealing as right now.
No, definitely not. Okay, so I stick the butter in there.
So you're going to want to stick it underneath the skin.
Oh, so I'm just going to stick it under the flaps here.
Right underneath
you're going to
pull that away, kind of like a purse. You're going to separate it from the meat.
Okay, perfect. So stick the butter in there, of course, for that lovely taste of butter, my favorite. And then what are we going to do next?
Then you're going to want to use, we have an example over here of some chopped apples, oranges, and garlic. You're going to stuff the cavity with that.
Okay, so right in that middle section.
Yes, so right in there. That's where his head got cut off. A little bit of butter in there as well, just to keep things moist too.
Okay.
After you've stuffed them, you're going to lay them on a bed of apples and oranges and a little bit of chicken broth. This is going to keep the bird moist through the cooking process.
And you just get like chicken stock?
Just chicken stock.
Okay.
You could use, depending how many birds you're using, you just want to do about a ½ an inch on the bottom of the pan. You don't want to cover the bird at all.
Okay.
After that, you're going to want to season it salt and pepper. And then we have our pomegranate glaze, which is going to go with kind of the seasonal fruit. You're going to take your molasses, and then you're going to take the pomegranate. You're going to want to cut it into 8s, and then strain the juice by squeezing all the little pods. If you lift up a little pomegranate right there, you can see all of the little pods in there. That you're going to break apart and squeeze into a strainer. Oh. That way all the juice gets expressed.
And you're going to put that on top?
And then you're going to glaze that right on top of the bird. So if you can see here in the example, one of the birds is not done.
Right, and this one.
This is what it will look like raw before it goes into the oven.
Okay, so all of that makes up the glaze, basically.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. And then this is what it comes out to
This is the
like.
final product.
Love it.
So you're going to want to baste the chicken a couple of times during the process. It takes only an hour. So I'd say after about a good 15 minutes, the bird should be golden brown. You're going to want to baste it again. Put it back in the oven, let it get cooking for maybe another 5 more minutes, and then cover it because you don't want to burn the bird. But while covering it with some foil, the chicken broth is then going to evaporate up into the chicken.
Okay, so a permeating smell, which will be great for your kitchen and all your guests that come to visit.
It'll be really nice, very, very good.
So then it looks like we've got our side dishes here.
Yes, we have everything that's going to accompany the bird. Everything matches together to create a
full course meal.
Yeah, exactly. Without going too over the top.
Okay.
So we're gonna start with our stuffing. We've decided to go with a cornbread stuffing, as you know, everybody likes to have a good cornbread. They like some of this sausage, so we have, and
wipe my hands after that chicken.
A little chicken on there. We've got a mixture of andouille sausage as well as sweet Italian sausage, something to add a little bit of spice, as well as a good balance.
Okay,
it's a good
great.
balance. As well as golden raisins will add a little bit of a sweetness as well.
Okay.
And then sage.
So we're gonna mix all this together.
So you're gonna
Can I go
mix
ahead and do
that.
this
Yes.
now? Okay.
So you know, I just put a little bit in there.
I don't need to put all of it in there. But
Yeah.
Just to show you that fact here. All right, we've got our raisins. Okay. And
After
then
everything has been put together, you're going to want to mix it up and then put it back into a baking dish. You could use, depending how much you're serving, 9 by 13 should be good enough. And then you're going to want to put that in the oven just to get everything to bake together,
Okay.
as well as cook off some of that sage.
So all of this will be baked in the oven. It's not stuffed inside the bird.
No.
Just the spices work. Okay.
Exactly.
So this is just our side dish. I know a lot of people like to put stuffing within the chicken cavity or the turkey cavity.
I prefer not to. I like to eat my stuffing. I don't like to stuff my stuffing.
Got it. Well, there you go. And then what do we have going on here?
Okay, so this is a great slaw. It takes you maybe 15 minutes.
Okay.
Very simple, very easy. What we've done is we have grated both Brussels sprouts and we've grated apples. Both of them are raw. We're not going to cook any of this.
Okay.
So this is a very quick, simple side dish to do. Anyone can do it.
And how long do you think this would take? 5 minutes?
Yeah, okay, pretty much. What you're gonna do, so if you wanna show an example, you're gonna want to, and you have to be very careful with your fingers, you're just gonna hold the top of it, but keep your fingers away.
And you're gonna grate it.
And
like
it's
this?
just gonna
Am I doing
grate.
this right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Usually, I'll switch it around a couple of times just to get each side.
Okay,
So that grates it up. You can also chop up the Brussels sprouts if you want to.
And then you do the same thing with the apples.
The same thing with the apples. After those have all been mixed together, you're gonna add a little bit of apple cider vinegar, ginger, and Greek yogurt.
Perfect.
A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper.
Mix it with your hands.
Some lemon to keep the apple from browning as well. You can mix it with your hands, you can mix it with whatever.
So this is actually, could be possibly a dessert too. I mean, I often eat my yogurt for dessert.
Well,
so.
yeah, if you added, say, if you wanted to add the raisins to it, it'd be kind of like a
pre-dessert.
Pre-dessert.
Okay. And then what do we have here?
We have here is a wild rice with earth goat cheese and beets.
Okay.
Now you can either buy beets in the store that have been pre-cooked, which I do most of the time because it just saves you having to take the hassle of peeling and roasting and all of that. But if you would prefer to do a golden beet or something like that, I would recommend doing that on your own.
Okay.
So you're just going to do basically whatever the package of your wild rice says.
Okay.
Which is usually about a cup or 2 cups of water, depending on how much rice you've used. I like to do the finger test, where you pour however much rice you think.
Right.
Finger test. If the water or chicken broth, which I like to use because it adds more flavor to the rice, if it's above your knuckle, you're good to go.
Okay. And how many cups did you use here?
This one I used, I believe it was 4 cups.
Okay. So that'll feed maybe 3 individuals, 3 male, men that are.
Yeah, that'll feed about 3 now.
Okay, perfect. All right, and then we have our dessert here. No, this is still a side.
This is still a side. I know it looks like it's dessert because it's so pretty.
I know.
Now, my mother usually does, like most other mothers, would be a sweet potato casserole. It comes with the marshmallows or the candied coconut and the nuts and all of that.
Yeah.
But that seems to have a lot of sugar in it. And a lot of people during the holidays, they don't want to get full too fast and they don't want to regret that, Christmas is coming up and you feel like a stuffed turkey. So what I've done is I've created the twice baked sweet potato, which I've added a little bit of butter, brown sugar, and a little bit of salt just to keep it going, as well as the secret ingredient, which is orange juice.
That is very interesting. I've never heard of that.
Just a little bit of that citrusy flavor adds this really, it works really well.
Okay, and that creates kind of the meringue, which I see here you put on top.
Well, we've done the meringue rather than doing a marshmallow. So I've just whipped up egg whites, no sugar involved at all. Just whipped up the egg whites, put it on top, and then browned it in the oven because you already have so much sugar well, not so much sugar, but you already have your
Natural
sugar.
sugars.
Yeah, your natural sugars inside of the sweet potato.
That would be a great alternative.
So the meringue adds this nice fluffy, kind of crunchy on top addition without going, too over your calorie limit with marshmallows.
Amazing. And then what do we have here?
And then for our final
Dessert.
dessert, melted a little bit. We've done phyllo pastry dough,
Okay.
and we've tucked it with pumpkin pie filling. So I've done the regular, pumpkin from a can. You can use pumpkin, if you want to roast your own, but time crunch in a small apartment, buy a can of pumpkin.
Okay.
Totally fine. And then we've done cream cheese, as well as I use brown sugar. You can use regular white, granulated sugar, but I use brown sugar for this one, as well as pumpkin spice.
Oh, where would you get that?
Pumpkin spice, you can get at Whole Foods or Publix or any of those regular shops, Graciti's,
Okay.
or the Piggly Wiggly, whichever state you're in.
And that cream cheese is what you put on top?
No, so we've mixed all of these ingredients together in the Cuisinart, and we've just gotten them all whipped up, made that pumpkin pie filling. Then we've taken the phyllo dough, and that comes in very, very thin sheets. So you're gonna lay out the sheets, butter them, lay down another, butter it, lay down another. So you're just gonna keep going for about 8 sheets. Then you're gonna wanna take the pumpkin pie filling right across and then roll it up kind of like a cigar or a burrito. I guess that makes more
That
sense.
sounds good, so we'll go with that.
Roll it like a burrito, then you're gonna wanna put more butter on top. Put it in the oven.
Can't go wrong with too much butter, guys.
It's unsalted, so it's okay. Put it back into the oven. Get it cooked up all brown. It's gonna be about 15 minutes, I would say. You're gonna wanna check on it, make sure it hasn't burned. It's gonna get this nice, as you can see, golden brown coloring in there. It's crunchy on top. You don't want anything in the middle to stay doughy because that's not gonna taste good.
That looks delicious.
And then we've topped it with whipped cream.
Well, that looks amazing. I look forward to making all of this. It definitely looks reasonable for somebody like me that doesn't really know about cooking. So what would a meal like this cost for roughly 4 to 5 people, considering I'm on a budget, holidays are coming up? What can I expect to spend?
Depending on what you have in your pantry, say if you already have, sugars and spices and that such, it would cost you around $100.
That's actually for 4 to 5 people.
For 4 to 5 people.
Amazing. So this would actually be a money saver instead of going to a restaurant or, having somebody else cook the whole fancy schmancy.
Around $100 isn't too bad.
No,
So
that's amazing. All right, and I often overeat around Thanksgiving or Christmas. My eyes are bigger than my stomach. How do I eliminate and combat that problem when I look at this meal before me?
don't go back for seconds.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so portion size.
Stick to, your regular. You're going to be fine eating maybe half of a Cornish hen. You're going to be okay with about half a cup of everything, which is a normal meal when you would go to a restaurant anyways. So you think of that as your, your measuring stick.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Well, you know what? Thank you so much. I have a lot to be thankful for this year, but right now I'm thankful for this meal before me, and now I know what to cook and how to cook it. For more information on what we prepared today, you can go to CourtneyNejedly.com. You can also go to Diana's website, Pinch and Nibble, for more recipes and Thanksgiving tips. We'll see you next time.
This isn't my attractive face while eating.